So this is looking at mature bucks only, October movement. So let's put this in a frame of reference real quick. So you said Alabama, Georgia, right? And
Yes, sir. Yep.
this is October, November, December information, and January.
Yeah, and this one, I broke them down each by month,
Okay.
and this is just dates where mature bucks were observed on camera over that 5-year period.
Okay. For the Midwest, would you put this like a month back?
I don't know. Probably not.
Okay.
The area, mainly the area that most of this information kind of come from, all has the same rut, which starts around the 20th of November,
Okay.
and all the way up to like the first week of December. We have like a 2-week rut right in there. So
All right.
maybe
So,
a month, or not even a month, like a week.
okay.
But I don't even know. We still have does that are coming into estrus the first week of November.
Yeah.
So
I know the South, the rut time frame is a little different down there. That's why I wanted to try and put
yeah,
this in a frame of reference for
yeah.
people.
I'm gonna be honest with you. My hunting in the Midwest and most of the areas like Kentucky, Ohio, and Indiana, and Illinois and Missouri, when I've hunted there, they line up almost perfectly with where I hunt in Alabama. Most
Oh
of the
wow.
area that I grew up hunting. It may be just a few days different,
Mm-hmm.
but if you have that late November, last 2 weeks of November rut period, this is going to line up pretty good with you. It's just the intensity is not going to be like in the Midwest. It's compressed down, and here it's more,
More
kind
spread
of
out.
more spread out.
Okay. Good. So this should apply for the vast majority of our listeners.
Yeah. Yeah.
So kind of describe this graph. What are we looking at here?
Well, all of the darker lines are lines where bucks were observed in multiple years.
Okay.
So it's not giving weight to having 5 mature bucks on this day 1 year. It's giving weight to there was multiple bucks on this same exact day year after year after year. And that's the way a lot of this data is broken down. So it tosses out 1 year weighing everything down and making it appear stronger than it was as far as movement, and gives more weight to stacking those dates on top of each other. So if a buck was captured, I think here we've got like, let's look at the 19th.
Okay.
So on October 19th in the evening, there was multiple bucks captured year after year, like in multiple years instead of just being 1 year. So that gives more credence to that particular day having more importance than the other days, basically. This is just tracking historical movement.
Okay. Yeah. And in general, it looks like, I mean, a lot of this, as far as the movement goes here, it really kind of aligns with what we've seen in the research as far as like the GPS data and stuff. At least that's how it looks to me with some of the radio college studies. Like you don't see as much midday movement.
Yeah. There's
See
hardly
some.
any. Yeah.
Yeah. There's some, but not much.
Yeah.
But then you get these a lot more morning and evening movements, which align to that corpuscular movement.
Yeah.
But it seems like there's a little bit more consistency in the evening movement here, at least like historically, of bucks moving through the same area.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't really see the historical movement in the morning until you get toward the end of the month.
Yeah.
Then you start seeing a little more of that. You do get little bursts, but it's not like a day. It's not stacked days together. It's more like a day here, nothing, then a day. You get a little bit there early in the month, I think it's like the 6th through the 8th or something, in the morning time frame, and that may have been one buck moving in 2020 and one buck moving in 2023 or 2024, and they did that back to back to back days. So and that's typically when we see our first pretty good cold front that kind of switches things out. So more than likely that's what that could be attributed to. But the afternoon movement, as far as historically in October, is just going to be more consistent.
Yeah, that's and anecdotally from my hunting experience, I've seen very similar movement. If I have the data and the opportunity to hunt mornings, I will. I prefer hunting a morning, but especially over the past couple of years, I've been targeting evenings a lot more,
Yeah.
just because, especially earlier in the year, especially that early October timeframe, I've just see more consistency there.
Yeah.
I do have a question. I know you said these cameras are kind of all over. Do you know if this data at all was, well, I guess we kind of already went over it. My question was going to be on scrapes and that, because
Hmm.
especially earlier in October, in the evenings is when I see some, as long as I'm somewhat close to a buck's core area or bedding area, that is when I'll get some consistent evening movement is on scrapes.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would probably say, just based on, I mean, I can, having that, remembering how I kind of broke things down, most all of the afternoon and evening information on here, like the historic stuff, was on scrapes in October. I know that the period, I think it is the 17th, where we had like a really, or 19th, I'm sorry. I remember that was definitively one particular um, hub scrape that the Bucks came to in four straight years. So they did it in back to back to back to back years. 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023, he came to the same scrape like different Bucks did. So that, and that's typically what you see is there's one day that when you do see the historical stuff, it's usually one specific spot on one specific day, and it just keeps carrying out over and over again. And it's hard to replicate that a lot of times in this early season. So
Yeah. Do you feel like that is in relation to the does in the area? Like, are they checking on the does? Is there a doe that's coming in early? What are your thoughts on that?
yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this one here will line up also. That same one will also line up with a period in November. Um, if we move over to the November side, it'll line up with that as well.
Yeah. I'll
That's what I'm saying. Like it's definitely that same movement um, is corresponding to a movement about 25 to 28 days later in November.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Okay. We'll move there in a second. I just want to hit on something real quick. The end of October here, this morning movement there's some pretty intense
yeah,
movement going on here compared to the rest of it.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and that's
yeah,
when a lot of guys will start hunting mornings too.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I know I'll start getting aggressive in the mornings towards the end of October.
yeah, yeah.
Not saying I won't do it at other times of the year, like early in the year, but definitely towards the end of October, I'm hunting lots of mornings.
One thing I will say after looking at all this too, and there's another graph that we'll get into later, is um, the biggest issue that I've seen having broken all this down. If I overlaid um, small buck and doe movement on this,
Mm-hmm.
it would weigh so heavily to the evening. It would
Oh, really?
it would all be red. Yeah. Um, and the capture rate for having a mature buck with a doe with other does and with smaller bucks like in multiples
Mm-hmm.
from October 1st to maybe October 20th in the evening is almost like 80%.
Oh, wow.
So at like 80% of the time, if you see a mature buck, and I had the AI pull this out, and we'll go over the graph later. Um, about 80% of the time, there was another deer within 30 minutes of that buck being on camera,
Mm.
on either that camera or one adjacent to it. So my takeaway from that is it's probably advantageous based on movement to hunt in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
But you've also got a ton of eyes and nose that are floating around
Yeah.
you at that same time. So
Makes it a little tougher.
yeah.
November.
Yep.
Wow. Look at that morning intensity.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you said this is getting closer towards your like pre-rut time frame down there, pre-rut into the rut.
Yeah. Once you get into November, I mean, you'll get a really strong bump early and then kind of a lull like you can see here in the middle of the month.
Yeah.
And then it's just, yeah, it's wide open. That lasts like 12 days of the month.
Yeah. Yeah. You're still seeing some of this crepuscular movement here in the mornings and evenings, but you do definitely get a more midday movement throughout the month of November, which would make sense, right? If bucks are on their feet searching for does.
Yep.
But man, the intensity in the mornings is pretty astounding, especially when you
Yeah.
get here in like the peak of the rut here.
Yeah. Yeah. It really, the morning movement in a lot of these areas, it's like it starts from just a trickle till it's just, you know, it's I define the morning from the shooting light 30 minutes before, basically 30 minutes before daybreak, until 10 a.m. So a lot of people will kind of put that 9 to 12 p.m. in the midday, but I didn't. I just stopped it at 10 a.m. And midday is 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then evening is 2 p.m. till end of shooting light. So
Okay.
evening has a little more out, has an hour longer in it.
Yeah.
On average, but it's kind of hard to get any movement in that like 1 p.m. to really 3 p.m.
Yeah.
Period on just about any of these. That's kind of just a dead period for honestly. But yeah, November morning just took off. You know, as far as mature bucks.